Admiral Krell stood on the bridge of his warship. His ship was called the Eternal Glory. It was the biggest and strongest ship in the Thaxian Empire. For 300 years, the Empire had controlled this part of space. They had 12,000 warships. They ruled over 400 star systems. No one had ever fought back against them. No one had ever won. Today felt different. Something was wrong. Krell looked at the computer screens in front of him. A new ship had entered their space. The sensors showed strange readings. The ship looked different from anything they had seen before. It did not travel like other ships. There was no light trail, no energy wave, no spacefold. The ship had just appeared out of nowhere. His officer spoke up. Her name was Lieutenant Vera. She handled all messages coming to the ship. She looked nervous. "Admiral, we are getting a message from the unknown ship. They are sending pictures and sounds. Their computer is changing their language into ours so we can understand them." Krell felt his hearts beat faster. He had two hearts like all his people. Both were racing now. "Show me," he said. A face appeared on the big screen. It was a human face. The creature looked strange but not scary. It had 2 eyes, 1 nose, and 1 mouth. Its skin was light-colored. It had short dark hair. The human wore a dark blue uniform with silver marks on it. The marks meant nothing to Krell. The human smiled. "Hello, my name is Captain Gregory Pierce. I come from the Terran Federation. My ship is called the Horizon. We come in peace. We want to talk to your leaders. We know this is sudden. We mean no harm. We just want to meet you and talk." Krell studied the alien carefully. It looked weak, small. The computer said it came from a planet with normal air and water. Nothing special. But something bothered him. The words Terran Federation meant nothing. His computer had no record of these humans. "Captain Pierce, I am Admiral Krell of the Thaxian Empire. You have entered our space without permission. Our law says all unknown ships must be checked. You must tell us where your home planet is. If you refuse, we will think you are our enemy. We will destroy your ship." The human nodded slowly. His smile did not fade. "I understand your rules, Admiral, but we cannot let you check our ship. This is our first time meeting you. We have safety rules for this. We will share information about our people through proper talks, but we cannot let you board our ship. It is nothing personal. Just our rules." Everyone on the bridge gasped. No one said no to the Empire. Ever. In 300 years, every species had obeyed or died. "You do not understand," Krell said. His voice was cold now. "You are one ship. We have 73 warships in this star system right now. Do what we say or we will destroy you." Captain Pierce sighed. He looked sad. "Admiral, I hoped we could avoid this. Computer, show them where all our ships are." The screen changed. Krell felt his blood turn cold. His skin went pale blue. The map showed 73 red dots. Those were his warships, but now there were also 300 blue dots. 300 human ships. They surrounded his entire fleet. The computers said they had been there the whole time. The sensors had not seen them. They had been invisible. "How?" Krell whispered. "How did you hide?" "We did not hide, Admiral. We were always here. Your sensors just could not see us. We have technology that makes us invisible to most scanning systems." Captain Pierce leaned forward. "As I said before, we come in peace. We do not want to fight, but we came prepared to protect ourselves. Now can we start talking like friends?" Krell looked at his crew. They all looked scared. Lieutenant Vera had her hand over her mouth. His weapons officer had stopped moving. Even his second-in-command looked ready to panic. 300 ships. All hidden until now, all bigger than his biggest warship. The humans could have attacked at any time. They could have destroyed his entire fleet before anyone knew they were there. But they had not. They had revealed themselves and asked to talk. "Yes," Krell said quietly. "Yes, we can talk." "Excellent," Pierce said. He smiled again. "I will send over information about our government and our territory. We can meet in 3 days to discuss trade and borders. Does that work for you?" 3 days, Krell agreed. His voice sounded weak even to himself. "Perfect. We look forward to a long friendship between our peoples, Admiral." Horizon out. The screen went dark. For a long moment, no one on the bridge moved. No one spoke. They all just stared at the map showing 300 blue dots surrounding their fleet. Finally, Lieutenant Vera spoke. "Admiral, what do we do?" Krell sat down in his command chair. His legs felt weak. "We send a message to High Command. We tell them everything. And then we wait for orders. Should we attack? His weapons officer asked. We outnumber them if we count all our ships in nearby systems. We could call for help. No, Krell said firmly. If they can hide 300 ships, they can hide 3,000. Or 30,000. We have no idea what we are dealing with. We do not attack an enemy we do not understand. He looked at the blue dots again. Each one represented a ship twice the size of his own. Each one had appeared from nowhere. Each one probably had weapons he could not imagine. For 300 years, the Thaxian Empire had been the strongest power in this region of space. They had conquered everyone they met. They had never lost a battle. They had never even been challenged until today. Until the humans arrived with their impossible ships and their polite captain who smiled while showing overwhelming force. Krell thought about Captain Pierce's face. The human had looked sad when he revealed his fleet. Not proud, not threatening, just sad as if he wished things had gone differently. That bothered Krell more than anything else. An enemy who wanted to fight was easy to understand. An enemy who did not want to fight but clearly could was terrifying. Send the message to High Command, Krell ordered. Mark it as urgent. Highest priority. Tell them we have made contact with a new species. Tell them this species has military technology far beyond ours. Tell them we need instructions immediately. Yes, Admiral, Lieutenant Vera said. Her fingers moved quickly over her control panel. Krell leaned back in his chair and watched the blue dots on his screen. 300 ships, just sitting there, waiting, not attacking, not leaving, just waiting. He wondered how many more were out there still hidden. He wondered how long they had been watching the Empire. He wondered what else these humans could do. Most of all, he wondered what would happen if someone in the Empire decided to attack them. He had a feeling that the 300 ships he could see were just a warning, a gentle reminder that the humans were not helpless. The thought made his two hearts beat even faster. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Krell was truly afraid. The meeting happened on a small moon. It was in neutral space far from both human and Empire territory. The moon was called Veritas. It had no air, no life, just rocks and dust. A perfect place for important talks. The Empire sent 50 people to the meeting. Commander Vex led the group himself. He wanted to see these humans with his own eyes. The humans arrived with only 20 people. Their leader was a woman named Ambassador Claire. She had silver hair and sharp green eyes that seemed to see everything. The first 3 days went well. Both sides agreed on trade rules. They marked their borders on maps. They planned to share music, art, and stories. But one big question remained unanswered. The Empire needed to know how humans built their ships. They needed to understand the technology. On the 4th day, Commander Vex asked for a private meeting with Ambassador Claire. They met in a small room with only 2 chairs and a table. No guards, no assistants. Just the 2 leaders. Ambassador, my government must understand your technology. We mean no harm, but for our safety we need to know how your ships travel so fast. We need to know how you hide from our sensors. Claire smiled kindly. Commander, I understand why you are worried, but we cannot share that technology yet. Not because we do not trust you, but because your science is not ready. It would be like giving a child a powerful weapon before teaching them how to use it safely. You think we are children? Vex felt anger rising in his chest. No, Commander. I respect you and your people very much. But let me ask you a question. How many dimensions does your science know about? 4. 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. We work with 11 dimensions. Your ships travel through hyperspace. That is a 5th dimension that you barely understand. You cannot see it directly. You cannot measure it well. Our ships travel through dimensions you do not know exist. If we taught you to build our engines without teaching you the science first, you might destroy yourselves by accident. Vex felt frustrated. Then teach us the science, we will. That is part of our offer. We want to build a research center where your scientists work with our scientists. They will learn together. It will take time, maybe several generations, but eventually your people will understand everything we know. Several generations, Vex repeated, and until then, you stay more powerful than us. Commander, would it help if we showed you why rushing this knowledge would be dangerous? 3 hours later, Vex and all 50 of his people stood in a special room with big windows. Outside the windows was empty space and stars. They watched as a human ship floated into view. The ship was called the Discovery. Captain Pierce's voice came through the speakers. What you're about to see is simple dimensional travel. We will move the Discovery through higher dimensional space. From where you stand, the ship will disappear and then come back instantly. From inside the ship, we will travel 1,000,000 light-years in a circle and return here. It will take us 30 seconds. Vex stared at the human ship. 1,000,000 light-years. The distance was impossible. It would take his fastest ship thousands of years to travel that far. The Discovery shimmered like water in sunlight. Then it vanished. Vex's computer showed nothing. No energy burst. No space tear. No trail of any kind. The ship was simply gone. 30 seconds passed. They felt like 30 years. Then the Discovery reappeared in exactly the same spot, as if it had never left. 1,000,000 light-years, Vex whispered. In 30 seconds. The energy needed for that should be equal to a star. Ambassador Claire stood beside him. No, Commander. It needs almost no energy at all. Because in higher dimensions, distance means nothing. Energy means nothing. But if you tried to build an engine like this with your current knowledge, you would probably tear a hole in space. That hole would destroy everything within a light year. Planets, stars, ships, all gone. This is why we must teach you slowly and carefully. Vex stared at the human ship. His mind could not accept what he had just seen. His science said it was impossible. His computers said it had not happened. But his eyes had watched the ship disappear and return. For the first time, he truly understood. The humans were not just more advanced. They were playing by completely different rules. They understood things about the universe that his people could not even imagine. How long? He asked quietly. How long did it take your people to learn this? About 2,000 years, Claire answered. From our first spaceflight to this, 2,000 years of research, mistakes, accidents, and learning. We lost entire research stations to dimensional accidents. Thousands of scientists died learning what not to do. We paid a heavy price for this knowledge, Commander. We do not want you to pay the same price. Vex turned to look at her. Her green eyes were sad. She was telling the truth. The humans had suffered to gain this power. They had made mistakes. They had lost people. And now they were trying to help the Empire avoid those same mistakes. Why? He asked. Why help us? We are not friends. We do not even know each other. Because we hope to become friends, Claire said simply. Because we believe the universe is better when species help each other instead of fighting. And because we were once where you are now. Young, proud, afraid of those more powerful than us. We learned that fear does not have to lead to war. It can lead to friendship instead. One of Vex's officers, a young general named Kira, stepped forward. But what if we use this knowledge against you? What if we learn your secrets and then attack? Then you would lose, Claire said without emotion. By the time you understand enough to build weapons like ours, we will have moved even further ahead. And more importantly, by that time you will have worked with us for generations. Your scientists will have friends among our scientists. Your people will have visited our worlds. Your children will have learned in our schools. War becomes much harder when you know and like your enemy. Vex understood. This was not just about technology. It was about building connections. The humans were offering knowledge, yes, but they were also offering something more valuable. Time. Time for both civilizations to know each other. Time for fear to turn into trust. It was a smart plan. By the time the Empire learned enough to be dangerous, they would not want to be dangerous anymore. I will recommend to my government that we accept your offer, Vex said. The research center. The slow teaching. All of it, Claire smiled. Thank you, Commander. I think this is the beginning of something good. Vex looked out at the stars again. The Discovery was still there, floating peacefully. A ship that could travel impossible distances. A ship that represented knowledge his people did not have. But maybe in a few generations they would have ships like that too. Maybe they would understand the secrets of the universe. Maybe they would travel between dimensions like the humans did. And maybe by that time humans and his people would be true friends. Not allies born from fear, but friends born from respect and shared knowledge. It was a strange thought. The Empire had never had friends before. Only subjects and enemies. But looking at Ambassador Claire's honest face and thinking about Captain Pierce's sad smile, Vex thought maybe it was time to try something new. Maybe it was time to have friends. Supreme Commander Vex slammed his fist on the table. The sound echoed through the war room. Around him, holographic images of military leaders and scientists flickered in the dim light. His 4 eyes glowed with anger. This makes no sense, he shouted. No species can develop this kind of technology. Our sensors can detect the smallest energy change from halfway across a star system. How did they hide an entire fleet from us? Chief Scientist Mora stood up. She was old and wise. She had worked for the Empire for 50 years. She had never seen anything like this before. She pulled up data on the big screen. Commander, we have studied the sensor data from Admiral Krell's encounter. The human ships are not using normal stealth technology. They are doing something much stranger. They are changing the space around them. They make our sensors think nothing is there. Our computers believe the empty space story, so they show us nothing. Admiral Krell spoke from his hologram. If this is true, it means they have computer power beyond anything we can build. The energy needed for this would be enormous. Exactly right, Mora said. This is why we must understand their power source. Commander, these humans have abilities we cannot explain. Their ships travel in ways we cannot track. Their stealth makes them invisible. And according to Admiral Krell, their smallest ships are twice as big as our largest warships. Commander Vex turned to his spy master. Colonel Thane was in charge of gathering information about enemies. What do we know about where they come from? They call their home planet Earth, Colonel Thane said. It is in a region of space we have never explored. We call it Zone Gamma 7. It is about 8,000 light-years from our closest base. The humans say they control over 200 colony worlds. They claim to have more than 10,000 warships. Commander, if these numbers are real, they are as strong as we are. Impossible, Vex said again, but this time his voice was quieter, less certain. We have been growing our empire for 300 years. How could a whole civilization exist without us knowing about it? Because they were hiding from us, Commander, Admiral Krell said. Captain Pierce told me something important. He said humans learned long ago that it is better to watch and learn before saying hello. They have known about us for over 50 years. They have been watching our empire grow. They have studied our technology. They learned our languages. They showed themselves now because we were getting too close to their space. The room went silent. Everyone understood what this meant. A whole civilization had been watching them for 50 years, learning about them, studying them, preparing for this moment. And the Empire had known nothing. Commander Vex sat down slowly in his chair. What do they want from us? They want nothing, Krell answered. No money, no territory, no control over us. They just want us to respect their borders. They want to start trading with us. They are offering to share some of their technology. Medical knowledge, farming techniques, entertainment, but nothing military. They will not share their weapons or their ship technology. It is a trick, Colonel Thane said. They want us to trust them. Then they will attack when we are weak. Maybe, Scientist Mora said, or maybe they really want peace. Commander, I have looked at their medical data. They live 3 times longer than we do. Their population grows much faster than ours. If they wanted war, they could just wait. In 2 generations, they would have 10 times more people than us. Commander Vex put his head in his hands. He was tired. For the first time in his long career as a soldier, he faced an enemy he did not understand, an opponent who said they were not enemies, a civilization with better technology that wanted nothing except peace. This scared him more than any weapon ever had. What do our people think? Vex asked. What does the Senate say? Another officer spoke up. His name was General Dax. The Senate is divided, Commander. Some say we should accept their offer. Others say we should prepare for war. But no one knows what to do. This has never happened before. We need more information, Vex decided. Admiral Krell, you will attend their meeting in 3 days. Take our best diplomats with you. Learn everything you can. Find out what they really want. Colonel Thane, I want every spy we have working on this. I want to know everything about these humans. Their strengths, their weaknesses, everything. Yes, Commander, they both said. And Commander, Mora added carefully, we should consider their offer seriously. If they have this much power and choose not to use it against us, perhaps they are telling the truth. Perhaps they really do want peace. Or perhaps they are smart enough to know that peace is easier than war, Vex said. When you are strong enough, you do not need to fight. Everyone obeys because they are afraid. Is that not what we have done? Krell asked quietly. For 300 years we have ruled through fear. Species obey us because we are strong. Maybe the humans learned the same lesson? Vex looked at his admiral. Krell was right. The Empire had built its power on fear and strength. They had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had destroyed any species that refused to obey. They had never offered peace first. They had always demanded surrender. Now they faced someone who had more power than them. Someone who offered peace instead of demanding surrender. It felt wrong. It felt like a trap. But it also felt like their only choice. Go to the meeting, Vex ordered. Learn what you can. But be careful. If this is a trap, I want you to survive long enough to warn us. Understood, Commander. The holograms flickered and disappeared one by one. Soon only Commander Vex remained in the war room. He walked to the big window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, hidden among those stars, were thousands of human ships, watching, waiting. He wondered how many there really were. The humans had shown 300 ships to make a point, but they had been hiding for 50 years. They had watched the Empire grow from nothing to the most powerful force in the region, and they had stayed hidden the entire time. How many ships did it take to hide that well? How many worlds did they control? How many soldiers did they have? The Empire had 12,000 warships. It had taken 300 years to build that fleet. The humans claimed to have 10,000 ships of their own. But if they could hide 300 ships so easily, they could hide many more. Vex felt old suddenly. He had spent his whole life building the Empire's military. He had planned for every possible threat. He had prepared for wars with dozens of different species. He had made the Empire unbeatable, or so he had thought. Now he realized the truth. The Empire was only unbeatable because no one stronger had found them yet. The humans had found them. The humans were stronger, and the humans were offering peace. Vex did not know if he should be grateful or terrified. Maybe both. He touched the window with one hand. The glass was cold against his skin. Beyond it, the stars shined bright and endless. Each one might hide a human ship. Each one might be watching him right now. What are you really planning? He whispered to the stars. What do you want from us? The stars gave no answer. They just kept shining, cold and distant and full of secrets. Commander Vex turned away from the window. He had work to do. He had to prepare the Empire for something it had never faced before. Not war, not surrender, but something in between. Something new and frightening and strange. Peace with an equal. Maybe even peace with someone stronger. The thought terrified him more than any battle ever had. 5 years passed quickly. Many things changed in those 5 years. The Terran Thaxian Research Institute opened on schedule. It was a beautiful building that orbited a binary star system. 2 suns, one blue and one yellow, provided endless light and energy. The building itself was a mix of human and Empire design. Both species had worked together to build it. Professor Mora stood in the main laboratory. She was co-director of the institute now. Her partner was Dr. Victor, a human scientist with kind eyes and a patient teaching style. Together they watched young scientists from both civilizations work on experiments. Human and Empire students worked side by side at the same tables. They shared ideas. They argued about theories. They laughed at mistakes and celebrated discoveries together. It was beautiful to see. I never thought I would see this, Mora said softly. Our peoples working together. Not as master and servant. Not as winner and loser, but as equals. Not quite equals yet, Victor said with a gentle smile. But we are getting closer. Your people are brilliant, Mora. Some of your students understand concepts faster than our students did. Things that took us a century to figure out, they learn in just a few years. Because you are teaching us, because you chose to share your knowledge instead of keeping it secret. Instead of using it to control us. We learned that lesson the hard way, Victor said. His smile faded a bit. Humanity spent thousands of years fighting among ourselves. War after war, each one worse than the last. We almost destroyed ourselves several times. Nuclear weapons, biological weapons, climate disasters. We came very close to extinction. He paused, looking out at the stars through the big windows. When we finally achieved unity and reached space, we made a promise to ourselves. Never again. We would explore. We would learn. We would meet other civilizations. But we would never conquer. We would never force others to obey us. Yet you built weapons that can defeat anyone, Mora pointed out. Because peaceful intentions mean nothing without strength to defend them. We learned that lesson too. The universe is not always kind to the weak. But there is a big difference between having power and abusing power. We have power. We choose not to abuse it. Admiral Krell entered the laboratory. He was retired from military service now. He worked as a diplomatic liaison between the two governments. He had become one of humanity's strongest supporters in the Empire. Many people trusted his opinion. "Admiral, good to see you," Victor greeted him warmly. "How was the council meeting?" "Very productive. The Joint Defense Agreement passed with strong support. The Kraith Collective has been attacking colonies on the Outer Rim. Both our governments agree we should protect our borders together." Victor nodded. "The Kraith are learning what your empire learned. Unfortunately, they are learning the hard way. 3 of their raiding fleets attacked human colonies last month. All 3 fleets are now floating in space with disabled ships. They are waiting for rescue." "You never kill them," Krell observed. "Why not? They attack your people. They destroy your property. Yet you just disable their ships and let them go." "Because today's enemies can become tomorrow's friends," Victor replied. He gestured around the laboratory. "We proved that. 5 years ago, our peoples feared each other. Now look at us. Your students and our students work together. Your people visit our worlds. Our people visit yours. We are becoming friends," he smiled. "Every species we meet, we offer the same choice. Peace and cooperation or isolation. Most choose peace eventually. Those who do not learn to leave us alone. But we never close the door completely. We always hope they will change their minds." "And those ships of yours," Mora asked, "the ones that terrified us so badly, how many do you really have?" Victor laughed. "More than we will ever need, we hope. But that information is classified, I am afraid. Some secrets we must keep, at least for now." "Will we ever reach your level?" Krell asked. "Will our people ever build ships like yours?" "Absolutely. In fact, some of your engineers are already improving our older designs. You bring different perspectives, different ways of thinking. You see solutions we never considered. In another generation or 2, you might be teaching us things we do not know." A young Empire student approached nervously. Her name was Talia. She was one of the brightest students in the program. She held a data pad in her trembling hands. "Excuse me, Professor Victor? I think I solved the quantum coupling problem you mentioned in class yesterday." Victor's eyes lit up with excitement. "Really? Show me." They walked over to a workstation together. Victor listened carefully as Talia explained her theory. He asked questions. He offered suggestions. He treated her ideas with genuine respect and interest, like she was his equal, not his student. Mora and Krell watched them go. They stood together in comfortable silence for a moment. "We were so afraid of them," Krell said softly. "Their ships. Their weapons. Their technology we could not understand. But you know what truly amazes me now?" "What?" "That they were just as excited to meet us as we were terrified to meet them. They had every advantage, every reason to see us as primitives, every reason to see us as threats. Instead, they saw us as future friends. They saw potential where we saw only danger." Mora nodded slowly. "Perhaps that is the real difference between them and us. We built an empire through conquest because we could not imagine any other way. They built a federation through cooperation because they learned that it is the only way that truly lasts." "Conquest creates fear," Krell said. "Fear creates rebellion. Rebellion creates war. The cycle never ends. But cooperation creates trust," Mora continued. "Trust creates friendship. Friendship creates peace, and peace creates growth." Through the laboratory windows, they could see the twin suns shining bright. Beyond them, countless stars filled the darkness of space. Somewhere among those stars, human ships continued their exploration. Those impossible vessels that had once terrified an empire. But the empire understood now. They understood that the humans were not meant to possess ships like that alone. They were meant to share them, to teach others how to build them, to spread knowledge instead of hoarding it. Across the laboratory, Victor and Talia were celebrating. Her theory had worked. The quantum coupling problem was solved. A problem that had stumped human scientists for years, solved by a young Empire student in her spare time. Victor gave her a high five, a human gesture of celebration. Talia laughed and returned it awkwardly. Her classmates, both human and Empire, gathered around to congratulate her. "This is the future," Mora said quietly. "Not just for our peoples, but for everyone. Imagine if every species in the galaxy worked together like this. Imagine what we could accomplish." "We would reach the stars," Krell said. "We would understand the universe. We would become something greater than any single species could be alone." "Yes," Mora agreed. "We would become a true galactic community. United not by force but by choice. Not by fear but by friendship." They looked at each other and smiled. 5 years ago they had been enemies. Or at least they had feared each other. Now they were colleagues, friends, partners in building something new. The Empire had learned its lesson. Power was not about how many ships you had or how many worlds you controlled. True power came from cooperation, from trust, from the bonds between people who chose to work together instead of fight. The humans had understood this all along. They had built their federation on this principle. Now they were teaching it to others. Not through force, not through lectures, but through example. Through patience, through genuine friendship, and it was working. Species that once feared each other now worked together. Knowledge that once gave advantage now brought unity. Weapons that once threatened now protected everyone. The galaxy was changing slowly, carefully, but surely, and it all started with humans and their impossible ships. Ships that should never have existed, ships that terrified an empire, ships that brought peace instead of war, ships that were meant to be shared. Not everyone in the empire was happy about the peace agreement. Admiral Court had built his career on war and conquest. He had won 50 battles. He had conquered 20 star systems. The idea of bowing to an unknown species made him angry. He did not care how advanced the humans were. 3 weeks after the peace talks ended, Court made a decision. He would show the Empire that humans could be beaten. He would capture one of their ships and steal their technology. Then the Empire would be strong again. He did not ask permission from high command. He just acted. He took his fleet of 300 warships into the border zone between human and Empire space. He had a plan. A good plan, or so he thought. His target was a human cargo ship called the Merchant Star. Intelligence reports said it traveled alone through a trade route. No military escort. No protection. Just a cargo ship carrying supplies to a human colony. Court positioned his 300 warships in a perfect ambush formation. They waited, weapons ready, engines silent. When the Merchant Star appeared, they would hit it from all sides. Overwhelming force. The ship would have to surrender. The Merchant Star appeared right on schedule. It was huge, half a kilometer long, bigger than any cargo ship Court had ever seen. But it was still just one ship against his 300. All ships fire, Court commanded. 300 warships fired at once. Energy beams, plasma bolts, missiles, everything. The combined firepower was enough to destroy a small moon. It all hit the Merchant Star at the same time. Blue light appeared around the human ship. Beautiful, shimmering blue light. The shields absorbed every single shot. Every beam, every bolt, every missile. None of them even made the shields flicker. The Merchant Star kept moving as if nothing had happened. A calm voice came through the communication system. Imperial vessels, this is Captain Nathan of the Merchant Star. You have just attacked a civilian ship without cause. This is an act of war against the Terran Federation. Stop your attack immediately. You are one cargo ship against my entire fleet, Court shouted back. Surrender your ship now, or I will keep firing until your shields fail. Admiral, you do not understand the situation. This is your last warning. Stand down. All ships target their engines. Focus all fire on the back of their ship. Maximum power. 600 energy beams, twice as many as before, hit the Merchant Star's engine section. Court watched his screens carefully. Surely this would do something. Surely the shields would at least weaken. The shields did not even flicker. They just kept glowing that beautiful, terrible blue. Captain Nathan sighed over the communication line. Very well, Admiral. You leave me no choice. Computer, activate defensive systems. Non-lethal suppression protocol. Everything went dark. Court's command screen went black. His engine displays showed 0 power. His weapons were offline. His navigation was dead. Even his chair stopped moving. The only thing that still worked was life support. He could breathe. He could move. But his ship was completely dead. Around him, his crew panicked. Admiral, all systems are down. Engines offline. Weapons offline! Communications offline. Through the window, Court could see his other ships. All of them were dark. 300 warships, the pride of the Third Fleet, floating helplessly in space like dead rocks. Captain Nathan's voice came through the emergency speakers. Those still worked somehow. Admiral Court, I have disabled your fleet using a directed electromagnetic pulse. Your life support will continue to work normally. Your crew is safe. I am transmitting your location to both your High Command and our diplomatic corps. They will send rescue ships. I suggest you use this time to think about what you have done. The Merchant Star, still glowing with blue shields, simply vanished. One moment it was there. The next moment, nothing. Not even a sensor reading. Just empty space. Court sat in his dead ship, in his dead fleet, and felt something he had never felt before. True helplessness. The humans had not destroyed his ships. They could have. One cargo ship against 300 warships, and the cargo ship had won without firing a single shot. They had not killed anyone. They had just turned off the power and left, like a parent taking away a child's toy. 6 hours later, rescue ships arrived. Imperial vessels sent by High Command. They towed Court's dead fleet back to the nearest base. When they arrived, military police were waiting. Court was arrested immediately. His career was over. He would face trial for attacking without orders, for risking war with the humans, for acting like a fool. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was what happened next. The humans sent a message to every government in the sector. Not just the Empire. Every species. Every civilization. The message was simple. It told what happened. How Admiral Court attacked without cause. How the Merchant Star disabled the entire fleet without hurting anyone. The message ended with one sentence that everyone remembered. Captain Nathan said we could have destroyed those ships. We chose mercy instead. That message changed everything. Every species in the sector understood the truth. The humans were not weak. They were not afraid. They had power beyond imagination. They just chose not to use it for killing. Some species saw this as weakness. They thought the humans were too soft to fight. But most species saw it differently. They saw strength. Real strength. The kind of strength that comes from being so powerful you do not need to prove it. In the Imperial Senate, the vote happened 3 days later. Should the Empire accept the Human Peace Treaty? Should they agree to all the terms? Should they become partners with this strange new civilization? The vote was unanimous. Every single senator voted yes. Not because they loved the humans. Not because they trusted them completely. But because they understood that the humans had given them a gift. The humans had shown they could win any war without effort. And then they had offered peace. They had offered friendship. They had offered to teach and share and grow together. Only a fool would say no to that gift. Commander Vex stood in the Senate chamber and watched the vote happen. He felt relieved. His people had chosen wisely. They had chosen survival. More than that, they had chosen growth. Admiral Krell stood beside him. The old admiral smiled. It was the first time Vex had seen him smile in weeks. We made the right choice, Krell said quietly. Yes, Vex agreed. Though it was not really a choice, was it? After what happened to Court, everyone understood. We can either be friends with the humans or we can be very lonely and very afraid. Better to be friends, Krell said. Much better, Vex nodded. He thought about the Merchant Star, one cargo ship, one civilian vessel. It had defeated 300 warships without breaking a sweat, without even trying hard. What could a real human warship do? What could their military fleet accomplish if they decided to attack? Vex decided he never wanted to find out. He was happy staying friends. Very happy. As he left the Senate chamber, he thought about the future. A future where his people learned from humans, where they built things together, where they explored the universe side by side. It was a strange future, different from anything he had imagined. But maybe, just maybe, it was a better future than conquest and war. Time would tell.